The topic is coping with stress and strains.
It's a very funny subject. Today we have with us a visitor from Australia. He is from Vietnam. The purpose of his coming to visit the Vietnamese refugees camp to go and console them and preach them, and they have a lot of worries and problems. So he had taken so much of trouble to come from Australia to visit them. So he's staying with us. And he's working in Australia to introduce Buddhism. So this morning, you have given me a subject to discuss, stress and strain. So what is wrong with you actually? I thought you are very normal. When you observe how human beings behave, thinking that they are progressing and enjoying their life, but at the same time we can see what sort of complaints and worries, fear, insecurity feeling, uncertainty in their life, and the mental attitudes such as jealousy, anger, cruelty, selfishness, all the other evil forces also increasing rapidly. That is why everybody is complaining that no one can live peacefully. Some people blame God for creating this world and all these living beings and all these problems. Some others blame devils and ghosts. But we do not know who are responsible for all our problems. It is due to our ignorance we blame others. When this question was put to the Buddha by one of the Devas, the Buddha has given the correct answer. But people think that they cannot practice. But without practicing the advice given by the Buddha, we try to find out some other solution to get rid of our problems. So what are those solutions? We go and pray, worship, and recite certain things like mantras and so many things. We wear talisman. We perform many kinds of religious rites and rituals. We observe certain things thinking that we can get rid of the problems and difficulties. But no one can satisfy with their life. That means our method is wrong. The advice given by the Buddha, no doubt, is very difficult to practice, but that is the only correct method. Now what is the complaint? The complaint is this. although we have more than enough or not, whether we are rich or poor, whether we are educated or not, everybody is facing so many problems and unsatisfactoriness, unhappiness and disturbances and worries. Why it is like this? So that means human mind is solely responsible for all these good and bad things in this world. Nobody else is responsible. Those who say that we are suffering today in this world just because of some sort of original sin is not acceptable for intellectuals who can think properly. Take for instance, if any life come into existence, that life is subject to many kinds of problems, physically and mentally. Whether they have a religion or not, whether they believe in God or not. Because these problems are natural, not created by anybody. It is not due to any original sins. We commit sins almost every day in our day-to-day life. Besides all these mistakes and sins that we commit, natural sources mean natural phenomena. Natural phenomena also disturb us. Season, heat, wind, and atmosphere, and earthquake, volcanic eruption, flood, fire, all these are natural forces. So we had to face, or we are subject to many kinds of disasters that the nature creates in this world. Simply by praying or worshipping, we cannot stop. But there are many things that we can stop, we can overcome, we can avoid by using our knowledge, our understanding, our intelligence, effort. So the prayer is not the only answer. There is a well-known saying that you can believe in God, no harm at all. You can pray and worship for your protection. But don't forget to close the door when you sleep at night. Don't forget to close the door when you go out. There is no guarantee that God can protect your house until you come back. Remember this. So don't depend on God or Buddha for everything. You have to use your own precaution, protection, knowledge, understanding, how to behave as human beings. When you study our human history, you can understand few thousand years ago, human beings lived on this earth. In fact, anthropology says few millions years ago, there were civilized human beings on this earth. So it clearly shows this world and the human lives were not created within a few days about 6,000 years ago. We had to face the facts. Then how did they live? They had only few problems at that time. Difficulty of finding their food and shelter for them to rest or to sleep. And they also had some problems regarding their sex. These are the only problems they had at that time. And clothing also not very important. They had no problems about their clothing. They had more than enough time to relax, to sleep. No doubt they had to struggle for their survival, to find out their food, shelter, and certain other things. Besides these few problems, they never had these new problems that we are facing today in the modern, civilized, cultured, educated, religious, scientific society. Those days, all these subjects were unknown. They had no religion. They have never learned any languages to write or read, and no science or technology. And they too had some sort of entertainment, such as dancing and singing, according to their way of life, because animals also do that. You can see these animals, even cats and dogs and birds, they also dance. The cats and dogs mostly use the what you call break dance. They are the one who taught you how to do break dance. When their backs are very itchy, you can see the cats and dogs, you know how they practice break dance. So you learn from them. And birds, of course, every morning when they get up, the way how they sing, evening also you can see it. And they have enough time to go to bed at proper time, because they have no nightclub, cinema halls, and liquor bar, and various other places. They have no factories, office work. Their way of life is to find out some food, and they enjoy their life. Then there's a proper time for them to go to bed. Then early morning they get up. Some of them get up very early, about 5. Birds. They come out. If not in the same place, they start singing. Because they are very happy, they have no stress. They are not tired. What is the reason? They have not abused their senses. They did not misuse their physical body for this so-called modern entertainment. So when they had enough sleep, enough time to rest, they don't experience that kind of stress or tiredness. So when they get up, they feel very happy, then they start singing. Or dancing also, some birds. And the cats and dogs also, early morning when they get up, they run here and there. That is their way of dancing. So what about you? When you get up early morning, Go straight away, you go to your mirror and see how beautiful your faces are. Worse than monkey faces at that time. Because of that stress, you have not given enough relaxation for your body, for your mind. Sometimes you come very late, after midnight. You feel very tired. Not enough time for you to sleep. Early morning when you get up, you feel very tired and not very alert. Then you complain. So we have invited, we ask these problems by organizing our way of life, thinking that we are progressing. Yes, we have discovered so many new techniques, new methods to indulge, for our indulgence. But this new technique for enjoyment never please, never console our mind and body. Create excitement. There is vast difference. Modern entertainment and the entertainment that they experienced long ago. The nature of this entertainment is entirely different. Everything that we organize to create some sort of excitement in our mind, and also not to calm the mind, not to train the mind, but to arouse the hidden animal nature in the man's mind. Do you know we have animal nature, human nature, and devilish nature, and divine nature, 4 kinds of characters. As cultured, educated, religious people, we suppress and control the animal nature and devilish nature. Then behave as human beings. But don't forget, all those hidden animal nature and the devilish nature still remains in the mind. Under certain circumstances, the intrinsic or the natural animal nature and the devilish nature flare up. The modern entertainment arouse this animal nature in the man's mind, but not to control it. But those days, in our entertainment, our cultural practices, there were many things for us to learn as good lessons, to control ourselves, to discipline ourselves. But today, there is nothing for us to learn to discipline ourselves, but we learn more and more wicked, cunning, immoral method through this entertainment. Then arouse the hidden animal nature. After that, they experience the difficulty of controlling. This is the biggest problem that many people have not yet realized. Let us take another simple example. Father and mother, both are very busy. They want to go out and work and earn more money. For what purpose? To enjoy. They have produced children, and they employ somebody to look after these children. But young children need especially a mother. The affection, attachment, love that child needs from the mother, another person cannot give. Then what do? To console these children, they buy all sort of toys for them to play. Because they have no time to devote their time to play with their own children. And they bring all sort of guns and machine guns and give to small boys. And these boys go on and they enjoy. Another one says, I shoot you. They learn all these things from their childhood. Then the fear of killing completely disappears from their mind. When they grow up, they want to use a real target. Now, gun has become the most important, some of the necessities in our life. When you go to certain countries, I heard even in Vietnam, 10 years old boys are using machine gun. They know, they have learned how to use machine gun. And this is our way of life. This is called development. The situation is so dangerous that in time to come, so each and every person must carry a pistol for their own protection. We cannot trust another human being. We are living in our human society, but we cannot trust. Those days, people were scared of devils and animals. Later they realized, many of them have realized, the fear that they had about devils and ghosts are mostly imaginary belief, not true, only belief. So that fear also fading away. And the fear of animals, they know how to take precaution. They know how to escape from animals. But man does not know how to escape from man. This is the biggest problem. So how can we regard that human beings are progressing? They have a religion to practice just because they go and pray. Pray for what? All those culprits, after violating peace and happiness of innocent people, go and pray louder for God to hear their prayers, to take away their sins, to bless them. This is the nature of religion today. This is the way how they practice religion today. What is the use of that type of religion? If religion cannot reduce man's wickedness, crookedness, selfishness, jealousy and hatred, no meaning at all. Do you think that you can train your mind to culture your mind simply by worshipping and praying? Religion is a practical method for you to practice and to cultivate your way of life. Then you can experience some sort of peace, satisfaction and happiness. And you also contribute many things for others to live peacefully. And this is the purpose of religion. our way of life is entirely changed. Lot of corruption, immoral practices, cunningness, selfishness, all these things are developing and developing and developing in the man's mind. But we always talk about development. Development, huge building, widening the road, new bridges, nice transport, beautiful houses, and all sorts of gadgets, electronic gadgets. Just sit down, push this button and that button and this button, you get everything. Push this button, you get hot water. Press this one, cold water. Push this one, ice water. Push this one, cook your food. Automatic cooking. Boil everything. Switch on this one, aircon. Switch on that one, fan. Everything. And develop into such extent this today, when one man push one button, the whole world can turn into ashes within half an hour. Do you know that? You are sitting on the time bomb. The whole globe is a time bomb. At any moment, explosion can take place. You do not know. Then who created all these things? By God or devil? No. Human mind. Now you can understand what the Buddha has said. Human mind is responsible for everything in this world, for good and bad. Nobody else. You can pray, no harm, but human mind is responsible. Then they also say, one day, God, when he gets angry, completely he destroys this world. Some others say, the devil destroys this world. But now you can understand actually who destroyed this world. Neither God nor devil, but human being. Human mind can destroy the whole world. Ready. It's only a matter of a time, just press the button. So what we have built up for, say, 6,000 to 7,000 years on this earth as our culture, civilization, everything can turn into ashes within half an hour. This is called development. Then, when you read that book, yes, we printed recently, Whither Mankind, I have discussed many of these problems. Again, another doctor in Penang, Dr. Tan Chi Kwan, is a psychiatrist, written a beautiful book, a stress and mental stress or something like that. The book is available here. Everything he has explained very systematically. What is happening to human beings on this earth today? So, time has come for us to consider this very seriously. Otherwise, all of us will be in one particular place. The whole country, the whole world may turn into Tanjung Rambutan. out of our head. We cannot balance our mental attitude because we are crazy and we have no contentment. Whatever we gain, we have no satisfaction. We want something else. A man who draws $10,000 per month as his salary cannot satisfy. He wants to draw $15,000. A man who becomes a millionaire cannot satisfy. He wants to become multi-millionaire. Where is the end of it? Right. Those who have been working by using their full effort and energy, by bluffing, swindling, cheating, hurting, destroying others. Without bluffing others, you cannot become rich. If you want to be rich, you have to bluff others. After becoming a multi-millionaire, unexpected problems that he never thought earlier, he had to face. Now life is in danger. People are planning to kidnap him, rob him, kill him. So many people are jealous, so many enemies. Now he cannot go out, he cannot sleep, he cannot eat. See what a wonderful enjoyment. Because of that money that he has accumulated by bluffing others. Businessman, I think you have read in the newspaper, when the price of the chicken started to drop, say few 100,000 chicks, they say 1 or 2 days old chicks, burns alive. All of them are burned just like rubbish dump. No humane feeling. Cruelty arises because of selfishness. He concentrates or they concentrate only about money. No value of any life to them. What is life to them? Otherwise, how can a human mind create such cruelty in the mind to burn few 100,000 chicks? They are living beings. In a Buddhist country, I have read this news item a few years ago, when they had more than enough chickens to maintain the market, the price. They have taken don't know how many 100,000s of chicken into the sea and throw it in a Buddhist country. In Hong Kong also I read this, when they had so much small chicks they put into plastic bag, airtight plastic bag, and all of the dump into dustbin everywhere in the town. This is the way how we develop our human way of life at the price of other living beings. In the end, what do we gain? Yes, we want money, money. Is it for our food or shelter or clothing or medicine? No. We had more than enough. This extraordinary pleasure, we need more money for that. Those days we never had this problem. We could satisfy with our life, but today we cannot satisfy. Because everywhere, all over the world, business people create temptation in our mind. Then we do not know how to control. These are the problems. In certain socialist countries, they have completely stopped advertising many things to create temptation, Now when you go to the town, you can see what sort of advertisements are there. When you see these advertisements, automatically temptation create in your mind. Then you need money. If you haven't got money, then you go and violate or disturb others. Get some money to come and enjoy. These are the problems. So, man's inhuman attitude completely polluted the whole world. Remember this. Jealousy, anger or hatred, selfishness, ill will, enmity, cruelty, all these inhuman attitude, every second radiate from the mind. You do not know. Transmit from the mind. So when we radiate all these evil forces from our mind, these mental vibrations completely pollute the atmosphere. We have not learned this. On the other hand, if we can radiate our kindness, compassion, good qualities as our mental vibration, we purify the atmosphere. I can tell you one of the Jataka stories. And you switch on this pen also. This is a very interesting story for us to learn something. During one of his previous birth, the Buddha, he was a bodhisattva at that time, he was practicing meditation, radiating loving kindness all the while. That was he has been doing. The ruler of that country was a very righteous, very kind and understanding ruler. He wanted to find out whether there is anybody in his kingdom who cannot satisfy with his way of ruling this country. So he interviews with many people. Everybody says, wonderful, we are very happy. The ruler is very kind, very understanding. But he could not satisfy. So he wanted to find out. So he disguised as an ordinary man and went out. When he was going, he saw a man who was sitting under a tree. He went to this man, sit down, and asked, what are you doing here under this tree? He said, I have been practicing meditation here under this tree for a long time. My meditation is loving kindness, that's all. Going on radiating, radiating, radiating. Meanwhile, he had collected some fruits from the same tree under which he was sitting. Then he gave one of these fruits for this man to eat. Everybody knows the fruits of this tree is very bitter. No one can eat. Then he asked, how to eat? This is very bitter. Then the meditator told him, you better eat and see. Then he had, and very sweet, very funny. How come? I have never seen, never heard in my life that this particular fruit is sweet. Then the meditator told him, there are two reasons even the bitter things that can change into sweetness. One reason is I have been radiating my loving kindness under this tree for a long period. Completely purify the atmosphere around this area. There is another reason. The ruler of this country, he was talking to the ruler, but he does not know. The ruler of this country is a wonderful man. So kind and compassionate and understanding, righteous person. Never hurt anybody in his kingdom. So the righteousness and loving kindness, these two great virtues completely pollute the atmosphere. Even the bitter things turn into sweetness. Now, this is one of the previous birth stories of the Buddha. And you can practice and experience at home. You have your father, mother, sisters, brothers, aunties, grandfather, grandmothers, all are living together. Now, if you have this understanding, your kindness, cooperation, understanding, when you develop these good qualities at home, you can see what a sweet atmosphere that you can enjoy in that house. No quarreling, no fighting, no hatred, no jealousy, no anger, nobody to cry, nobody to scold and accuse and curse. So the main problem is our own human weaknesses. We, instead of developing mankind, we develop worldly things to satisfy our craving. When we develop worldly things to satisfy our craving, we develop more and more craving. It is like this. Assume here in this pond we had some water lilies. Now only artificial one. Formerly we had natural one. When we plant water lilies or lotus, the muddy waters, about 10 to 15 feet deep. When the lotus leaves or lotus bud started from the bottom, goes up and won't come out, they never remain under the water, always must remain above the surface of the water. The more the water level goes up, these things also goes up and never remain under the water. The leaves and the bud. In the same manner, the more we develop our craving, by discovering various methods and techniques to enjoy, the more we develop our craving also. There is no limit. When the water level started to drop, slowly, those two things also never reduce the size, never goes down like this. See the difference now. When the water level drop up to this level, and those leaves and the buds also drop, but never reduce like this. Now you are used to enjoy your life because you had good income. Then you went on developing your gadgets, increasing everything. When the economy, when your income goes down, very hard for you to reduce your expenditure. Then what will happen? You also collapse. You cannot tolerate. That is why you grumble. Now everybody is talking about recession, this and that, very bad economy, very bad business, no income, no job, no this. because you won't get enough money to enjoy your life as usual. One of the main purpose of observance of precept, 8 precept, is to learn this. The Buddha has introduced this very tactfully for you to experience. While enjoying your life, voluntarily you observe 1 or 2 days or 1 week or 1 month, it is up to you, to cut down all these extraordinary enjoyment. Lead very normal life. Keep away from all the extraordinary enjoyment, gadgets and decorations and jewelries. Keep away from all those things. Use normal clothing, take normal food, and day-to-day life, lead a normal life without any extraordinary entertainment. That means we are trying to train ourselves. One day, if happen to face this kind of problem, this is a rehearsal. You train yourself how to adjust your way of life in case of the difficulty. Let us take the country of this reverend, Vietnam. Then the political upheaval started to disturb the country. Then the communist occupation completely disturbed their way of life. Then millions of innocent people had to run away by carrying their babies and little bit of belonging, and they do not know where to go. Some of them die on the way, in the sea, in the jungle. If 1 million started to run away, maybe half of that population may die on the way. And he is one of the victims. How many millions? All are human beings. Then who created this problem? The God, those who believe God create all these things, God is hiding. When such problems arises, he is hiding. He thinks that he is not responsible. And others say, oh, devil, not God, devil. It is devil's work. All these things are done by the selfishness, cruelty of man's human mind. Are still going on, human slaughter, more than 30 to 40 years. Every day going on killing and destroying and destroying. It has become a hobby to those people in many parts of the world, killing innocent people. A man who is responsible for destroying more than 1 million human beings in Cambodia, Pol Pot. Is not Pol Pot, actually the crackpot, a real crackpot. A few days ago, I think you have read in the newspaper, doctors say he is suffering from very bad cancer. Very, very bad, no cure. He can live only few more months, maximum 1 year. He wanted to get the power and authority into his hand by massacring millions of innocent people. They have collected human skulls. How many 100,000 and dumped together, heaps, all human skulls that he had slaughtered, still available there. Can you imagine? A human mind can use this kind of disaster, create this kind of thing, inhuman attitude. That is why we had to train this mind. Science cannot train the mind. Science disturbs the mind. I told you on many occasions what Albert Einstein has said. He said, science atomic energy can change everything on this earth. But atomic energy cannot change the human mind. Because human mind is more dynamic than the atomic energy. Because this atomic energy also discovered by the human mind. Then, what is the solution? Now there you can understand why religion is needed. Whatever any other method you adapt to train your mind, you never experience the good result. But religion can do that. But unfortunately, religions also abuse human mind. People use religion, name of their religion, to bluff innocent people, mislead innocent people, make use of them for their own benefit. So people have lost confidence. They say better to do away with religion, keep away from religion. They have seen. So how religionists are fighting and killing. So if religionists cannot stop their fight, then how can we ask others to stop their fighting? So nothing wrong with religion, any religion. The main purpose of all these religions is to train human beings. Whether it is Buddhism or Christianity or Islam or Hinduism or any religion, the basic foundation, the main purpose is to do some service. But selfish man, crooked man, when he handles this religion, when he get authority into his hand, he misuse and abuse. So religion also polluted. That is why people say religion is irrational today. Science is inhuman. Politics is dirty. Man is unreliable. World is uncertain. Then what are you going to do now? Go and pray. Then who created all these problems? If religion is irrational, that means man has polluted the purity of religion. So nothing wrong with religion. If politics is dirty, man has done that. Otherwise, the main purpose of politics is to serve, to protect, to maintain peace and order. Who can say politics is dirty? It's very important. But the man's selfishness, cunningness, completely polluted politics. So, science is inhuman. Now what is science? Certain hidden forces, phenomena, natural phenomena discovered by the man, they utilize and harness and divert through various channels to produce certain things. The main idea is to do some service to mankind, for constructive purpose. But today, the same human mind used this for destructive purpose. That's why at any moment, time bomb. Those days we have never heard this kind of thing. We can plant a bomb very far away and sit down here and use remote control. Blast. This is called development. Just now I told you one man who is in America, President of America, any moment when he pressed the button, the whole world can turn into ashes. So we are sitting on the top of a time bomb. All these are man's work, not God or devil. Man thinks he is progressing. Unfortunately, he is declining, deteriorating very badly, morally, ethically, physically. Very funny kind of new sicknesses that we have never heard in our human history. I think you have heard a new sickness is spreading now all over the world. 10 years old children look like 70 to 80 years old people. A new sickness. All the glands and organs and the features, everything completely rotten. The Buddha has given this warning. People thought that Buddha is mad to talk like this. He said, when the man's morals and ethics and way of thinking started to deteriorate, then the maximum lifespan also started to drop and drop and drop. He says, during the Buddha's time, the maximum lifespan was 120 years. But today, I think about 65 to 70 years. Maximum lifespan average. See, within 2,500 years, how much? Dropped. And this will go on. Reduce up to 10 years. Maximum lifespan become 10. That means 10 years old boy or girl is already grandfather and grandmother. Started already. Who is responsible? You think God create like this? Is there any reason for anybody to create like this? Our own mistake, our crazy attitude, our madness. We abuse our senses. We abuse our human body. We abuse our mind. Develop cunningness, selfishness. No development. Develop only these things, intellect, selfishness, cunningness. Intellect is very, very advanced. People are learned. They know so many languages, science and technology and geography and biology and chemistry and anthropology and philosophy, psychology. But few thousand years ago, people have not learned anything. But they were not that bad. They were not crazy. They were not cunning. They were not wicked. They led a natural life. Then where is the progress? Then we complain. No peace, uncertainty, mental depression, cannot sleep, frustration, worries, fear. Who created all those things? Our own mind creates all these things. So religion, especially Buddhism, is for us to learn how to strengthen our mind, how to cultivate, how to develop this mind to face certain problems which are unavoidable. That means no one can escape, natural thing. But we have to train the mind to face them. Certain things we can avoid by adopting these advices. certain things we can overcome without experiencing the bad effect. It depends on how we handle our way of life. So don't think the solution for human problems come down from heaven. It will never happen. You can pray 100 times a day. Peace and happiness never come down from heaven. You have to work for that. So this is the advice that I would like to contribute under this subject, stress and strain. You know, you are not happy. You have a lot of anxieties, hopes, worries, thinking about your job, your future, your marriage, your house, your income, your children, your protection, so many things. But if you fulfill your day-to-day work without neglecting your duties, you will succeed. Reduce all these unnecessary worries. Don't worry about the future. Worries never settle your problem. Do your work. On the way, you had to come across certain problems. You must have courage to face them. Then you can overcome. And don't be crazy to enjoy too much. There must be a limit. The Buddha's advice. Santutti paramang dhana dhammapada. Contentment is the highest dhana, wealth. If you have no contentment in your life, whatever you have accumulated in your life, you never experience happiness. Remember what Mahatma Gandhi has said. He said, I have adopted a principle. It's called voluntary poverty. Voluntarily, I decided to become a poor man. Then people asked, why? Then he gave reason. Now if I collect so much property and money and various things, I had to fight with others to protect my property. Then I have no peace. Whole day and night I had to protect my property. Then others try to bluff me, mislead me, swindle me. They are jealous, then they become enemies, they disturb me, they can kill me. But if I can get rid of this problem, I have peace. I can maintain peace in my mind. By keeping this property, I never experience peace and happiness. This is the thing the Buddha says. Contentment is the most important thing. Now let us take another example. A man, as I mentioned earlier, who have been working day and night to become one of the richest men in the country, when he is in trouble, when life is in danger, he goes to a man, a penniless man, and who has given up everything. He goes there and kneel down, worship, beg, please help me. I am in trouble. I need your blessing. I need something to protect myself. Can you imagine? Now he is asking this from a penniless man who has given up all these things. The man who got more than enough things cannot do anything to protect his life. That is why they go and kneel down, pay respect to a penniless man, a holy man, who is not crazy for this property. So as lay people, since you are not going to renounce your worldly life, there is a method, household duties, by maintaining some sort of satisfaction to carry on your way of life without facing so many worries and problems. Still, it is not too late. So, thank you very much, Yusuf.
Reverend Venerable Sir and everybody, Dhamma friends. Firstly, I'm sorry you about my English because I just escaped my country 3 years ago to Australia and have no time to learn more English. And because I'm very busy to set up new center in Australia to propagate Buddhism to everybody, especially to Vietnamese community there. Do you know that 100,000 people now settling in Australia? 100,000? Yes, and Vietnamese only. And Cambodian about 15,000, and Laotian maybe 15,000 more. Just at the moment in Australia, we just have 10 monks and about 5 nuns, and we have not enough the priest to have the secret life to many members in Buddhism, and but even that we own way to have the people in the refugee camp and few monks from Europe or America usually to organize some long travel to visit the camps in Philippines, Hong Kong, or Singapore. But this is the first time I come here to visit our people in Songibisi camp. Do you know about Songibisi camp near here? And Pulau Bidong tomorrow. In last Friday and yesterday, I came there to visit everybody in the camp, about 2,900 people in there. Almost of the people in the Songibisi camp now waiting to go to USA, Canada, Australia or Europe countries. Some of them stay there about 2 years because of something personal problem. But in the Pulau Bidong now, I know that about 4,000 people, but few hundred people stay there for 3, 4, 5, or 6 years because many things problem in their personal life or some sponsorship, etc. As the Venerable Sir here talked to you, 12 years before, the communist North Vietnam took over South Vietnam and destroyed all of religious activity. But very important part in the religions in South Vietnam are Buddhist people, because we are about 80%, and 12,000 monks or nuns around the nation. But at the moment, just one third of them still in the various temples, and all of small temple or very important temple closed down under the new government. And we cannot to keep normally activity in the weekly or monthly as before. Many monks has been sent to prisons as Buddhist lay people who were the temple advisor or temple coordinator, etc. And about over 1 million people has been settled in third country through Malaysia, through Indonesia, Philippines, or Hong Kong, Thailand, so on. And about few 100,000 people die on the sea, as UNHCR report. And many suffering to Vietnamese country now continue. The economic problem or political situation there very bad, and our people still no enough food to eat, no enough material to wear, no enough any goods to use in the daily life. That means we need to help, but how we can change communist government? That is a big problem. We cannot to change the general karma, but for individually karma, personally karma, we can change by Buddhism way. And of course, I cannot to tell you deeply more deeply philosophy, but certainly you are here very happy to learn Buddhism with the Venerable Sir here, and so many Buddhist activity here, because you are on freedom country. But we are the Buddhists. We practice compassion, wisdom, or encouragement from the Buddha teaching. We never forget the suffering people around the world, not only in Vietnam. Now, in the world, we have many hot points. South Africa, Middle East, South America, Afghanistan, Vietnam, not only Vietnam, but Southeast Asia, including Cambodia and Laos. Many countries has been in wartime or in the political trouble or economic situation. Certainly, how can we help them? I think firstly, we need to train our mind first, as the Venerable Sir here talk to you. And we need to keep very strong spirit life, keep our life out of material ways. We need to stay on our belief, our faith, pure life, and useful life. This is my some work to send to you today. And of course, this evening I fly to Tenkanu to prepare tomorrow to visit the Pulau Bidong camp. In there, over 4,000 people are waiting to settle the third country. And in this occasion, I like to thank Malaysian people, save too much effort or money to keep, to receive, to help our people in two refugee camps internally, especially in Buddhist Vihara here, or the Vihara members. He raised a lot of publication, books, material, or sometimes money to send to the camp to help the people, suffering people there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Venerable Chief Reverend, and also Venerable Reverend from Vietnam. And would like to mention your name?
Certainly. Just to look a few words to introduce our activity in Australia. I went to Australia at November '83 and set up a new center in Canberra, Australian capital, at mid of '84. And now we got the freelance from the government to set up the main vihara, maybe next year if we have enough or nearly enough financial condition. In Australia is a multicultural society, and the government usually to have some religious groups or ethnic groups or something like that. And we now collect or save some money, the same here you are doing, to save money to build up the new center, a new school. And we are doing the same thing in the Australia. In Australia now, there are about 60 Buddhist organizations, Australian groups, Vietnamese, Laotian, Chinese, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Tibet, Japan, Korean, etc. But mostly it's the Vietnamese because we bring to there about 70 or 80,000 members. Of course, we are poor people and in very low level economic condition. But many kind of Buddhist tradition arrived to Australia a few years before, or 10 or 20 years before. Do you know Venerable Kentibalo? Kantibalo or Mahinda from here? Right. We are a very close friend and we work together. And we organize the Chan Vesak ceremony yearly from last year. About 2,500 people to come in last Vesak day in the public school. We rent the hall and the bed in the high school because not any temple in Australia now can organize the big ceremony for 1,000 pupils. And we hope we can join in the Buddhist Federation of Australia for everybody, every tradition in Australia. And maybe the Australian Buddhist Federation there will stronger and have a bigger influence to Australian people because at the moment, under the guidance and the teaching of Western monks or Sri Lankan monk or some Thailand monk or Tibet monk, many Australian people are studying or practicing Buddhism. And this is a very suitable country to develop Buddhism. And if all of you or you have any occasion to travel to Australia, welcome to my temple in Canberra. And the address will be in the outside if you can to want it. Thank you very much.